The Paralympic Games are set to begin in less than 2 weeks. Eric, you first. You ready to go? How are things looking?
Yeah, I've been ready to go for about 3 weeks now. We just got back from Denmark, and we had to train up there for the able-bodied games there in London, and shot well, and had to come home and chill out and train a little bit and get ready to go. So,
Bob, how do you think things are looking for the team?
I think things are looking pretty good. I've only got 2 guys going over there, but both of them are in a position to really be able to contend for medals, and obviously will represent our country well, whether they medal or not.
Yeah, I mean, it's really exciting. And I know, Eric, first of all, you really are an inspiration to all of us, I've got to tell you. You use shooting to help recover from an otherwise devastating injury. And just tell us how the sport has really helped make a difference for you.
Well, sport just helps you shift the paradigm of injury to ability. Nobody here at the Olympic Training Center really cares that I'm in a wheelchair. They just want to see how I'm doing and whether I'm competing well in my sport. So it's the opportunity to train here and prepare helps the psychological aspect of the injury become marginalized, and through the sport, it's an ability-based opportunity to compete, and nobody really pays much attention to the disability, so it minimizes that aspect.
No, and I mean, I used to play wheelchair tennis with guys in wheelchairs, and I'll tell you, there's nothing like those athletes. They are tough, they are strong, and I know you are too. I mean, you've always been a shooter, haven't you?
Well, yeah, for quite a long time. I shot in special operations as a tactical shooter, and back then I thought I was a good shooter, and now I'm just working really hard to become one. The Olympic sports are just much more precise and precision-based. So.
And you know, Bob, you're an Olympic medalist yourself. What does this mean to you to be part of all this, coaching the team and seeing what the sports does to help athletes like Eric?
I'm so thankful for what the sport has done for me and the opportunities it's given me through my life. And, I was also a high school teacher before I came out here. I love being able to share what I know with other people and help them be successful in whatever they're doing, to learn and grow. And so, it's a great combination for me where I really do have, the background. It was real for me. I've been there, done that, and now I've got a chance to share it with other people and help them as they try to become the best in the world. It's something very challenging.
About being the best and also making a difference in their lives.
Sport makes a difference in lives. It's why I'm still doing this instead of something else. And I believe that's true whether you're able-bodied or disabled,
Absolutely.
you're young or old. I love the shooting sports and what it does for kids and all it does to help them back, concentration and goal setting and dealing with winning and losing. And those things are maybe even multiplied for people with disabilities, and some of the therapeutic aspects.
Eric, how's Bob as a coach?
I'm sitting right here. So do you need to leave the room for a minute?
No, that's funny. It just depends on how I'm shooting. Sometimes we go head to head, but we're all focused on success, and the route that we take to get to that, is bumpy sometimes, and we, as an athlete, nobody's harder on yourself than yourself. So, we work well together. We both feed off each other's strengths for the most part, and everybody needs a coach. The great thing about being here in Colorado Springs at the Olympic Training Center is we have a plethora of former Olympic shooters here, so it gives me a lot of resources to draw from. So, and coaches definitely, I talk to them every day about my shot process and what I'm doing and what I'm working on, what I'm struggling with.
Yeah, it's intense, and I mean the training hours are long, but from what I understand, your teenage daughter's training there too.
Yeah, that's the blessing in disguise about the injury. She's here training. She races with Breckenridge's team. She's going to be a second-year J3 this year, so 14-year-old ski racer, and she works really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Her identity is wrapped up in being an elite level athlete. So
It's got to be neat, though, having family there. It's got to be an extra plus when it comes to motivation, keeping you going.
Yeah, it's amazing as a parent to see my daughter switched on and working really hard, focused, and in love with what she does. It's just great.
So, Bob, what's your message? And Eric, what's your message to other athletes who may be disabled about getting involved in the Paralympics?
It'll be one of the best things you do. The anecdotal stories we hear about how it changes lives, maybe even saves lives in a couple cases that I won't go into detail on, but that opportunity, and Eric mentioned it right off the bat, that in sport you are switching your attention from what you can't do into what you can do. And that is, just amazingly powerful. And it is one of the things that works with able-bodied kids in shooting. Shooting sports does sometimes draw kids who just aren't good at any other sport, and it flips a switch for them and changes their outlook on the world. And then in elite sport, it opens the doors to the world to you, and opens your eyes in so many different ways.
And I'm sure, Eric, for you, you could list the things it's done for you, but I'm sure it's a confidence builder.
I never focused on the negative aspects of my injury. I was a special operations guy for 10 years, and I just really wasn't geared that way. But the thing that sport gives you that you don't get really anywhere else is just the opportunity to set goals, work hard to achieve those goals, and then through that process, the injury becomes marginalized, and it becomes a positive in your life. So it takes a lot of work, but it's worth it.
Shooting's one of the sports where the version for a disabled person is most similar to able-bodied. And I know you mentioned that you played wheelchair tennis or guys in wheelchairs. Very, very hard for an able-bodied person to adapt in a wheelchair quickly enough to do wheelchair sports and do that with their friends. But in shooting, it really just doesn't matter that much whether you walked up to the firing line or rolled up in a wheelchair or whatever. That as soon as you're past that, the sight alignment, trigger control, hold, follow through, breathing stuff, that is 100% the same. No matter what condition your body's in going into it.
One of the great things about shooting is it's a score-based event. So my score, I can directly relate to the best shooters on the able-bodied team here, and so that gives me a way to rate myself against the best shooters in the world, and that's the reason I chose the sport as opposed to swimming or hand cycling or something else. So I couldn't really compete with an able-bodied athlete the same, but I can do that here.
Bob, you couldn't ask for better role models, ambassadors like Eric and Josh Olson, to get others to believe that they can do the very same thing. How do you see this helping the program grow, what they're doing right now?
The Paralympic Games are the perfect showcase. That's the one time in the 4-year cycle that everybody in the world has the opportunity to focus on this one event. And so to have such great ambassadors involved as well as great athletes is just a tremendous opportunity. And it's worked out this cycle that the two guys I have going into London are from the military. Josh is still active duty. Eric's a veteran. My next alternate is a female civilian. So, just if I'd gotten a third spot, then I would have had her going as well. So it's just a really neat opportunity for us, though, to showcase some special things about the sport. Josh will get some attention because he's an active duty service member competing in the Paralympic Games. I believe that's the first one ever for the U.S. So, that's special. Eric's background and the opportunities he's had here and having his daughter involved even has brought some extra interest for us because of what it's done for his family, not just him personally, but for his family too. So really, really neat opportunities, neat stories. Check our USA Shooting website, read the media accounts, look for us in London here in a couple of weeks.